Welcome to our special programme celebrating 200 years of the modern railway. I'm on the footplate of arguably the world's most famous steam locomotive, the Flying Scotsman at Alstom in Derby, where they've been building trains for almost 150 years. And today, thank you, they are celebrating the greatest gathering of modern and historic engines. On the programme tonight, Location Locomotive, why this is the greatest gathering of engines past, present and future.
Coming here today, we were lucky to get tickets in the second lot of tickets, so he's not disappointed.
From train building and the beaching cuts to the new headquarters of Great British Rail, how the East Midlands has always been at the heart of the network.
3 different railway companies came to Derby in the late 1830s and changed the world.
Electrification is going to be a significant step up from the trains we've got today that run on the Midland Main Line.
We meet the young engineer from Derby, hoping her talent will keep the rail industry on track.
And there may be a contender for the most famous locomotive in the world. I wonder which one.
Good evening and welcome to what's being billed as the greatest gathering of trains of all time. Now I know it's a little bit quiet now, but earlier on around 15,000 people were here at this rail festival today, with thousands more expected over the weekend. And as you can see behind me, there are just 2, actually you may be able to see 4 of the locomotives that have been part of the main attraction today. And it's certainly been a real treat for both rail enthusiasts and for anyone who just loves trains. There's been something for everyone, and as our correspondent Charlotte Cross found out, it is the people in rail who make it so special.
For 200 years, that has been the sound of the railways. And today in Derby, at the very heart of railway history, it was the soundtrack to the day, as trains throughout the ages came together for a once-in-a-generation exhibition.
Oh, it's amazing, a one-off experience, isn't it?
The steam's amazing, yeah, brilliant, beautiful.
It's the first time I'm seeing this kind of trains, so it's not usually you see these trains every day, so it's really a good experience.
Well, they have said I can have a go at tooting the whistle, so let's give this a go. Amazing, there is nothing quite like that sound, is there? And this train itself actually dates back to 1863, so it's very nearly as old as the railways themselves. And that's what this exhibition is all about, celebrating the very, very old, all the way to the brand new.
It's the history of the country, you know, the railways just brought so much with the industrialisation.
I think the railways made this country, right? They were built, they've carried people around, carried goods around, they helped the UK become what it is today.
It's important just to kind of see how far we've come.
These were the machines that built Britain. These were the machines that made Britain what it is today. And without that, I don't know what Britain would be now.
For some, it was an emotional day too. John Jones worked with steam engines on the railways from the age of 15. And from 1965 was a driver serving Wolverhampton, Stourbridge, Leamington Spa and beyond. Today, there were 4 generations of his family with him as he took a trip down memory lane.
It's magic, really, because these things are they're alive, you know, each one is different. It's like going back to my time on the railway. They're just the smell of the steam, so,
Brings it all back.
Yep, yeah.
From the nostalgia of days gone by to the train travel of tomorrow, it's clear that the next chapter of Britain's railway story is still being written, and it starts right here.
And we've certainly seen that history in the making today. I'm joined now by the Managing Director of Alstom, who is Rob White. Rob, welcome to the programme.
Thank you.
It's been a great day today.
It's been absolutely incredible from the moment I arrived here. Even the sun managed to stay out. Lots of happy faces, lots of really enthused children. Couldn't have asked for more.
Yeah, and thankfully the rain's holding off for us as well now. It's the first time you've opened the site in 50 years. Why now?
Yeah, I mean, the site hasn't been open since I've been alive, but we took the opportunity to celebrate the 200th anniversary of passenger railways starting in 1825. And really, it was only us that could do that as Alstom because of our heritage, our history. We're the only site in the UK that still designs, builds, manufactures, tests trains, and really we felt if we couldn't do it, who else could? And we needed to celebrate 200 years of this amazing industry.
Yeah, and we're quite lucky, aren't we? Because normally we wouldn't be allowed this close to the tracks.
No, normally I'm not allowed to stand here. I mean, this is a working factory. On Monday, once all of these things have gone out, we start the manufacture of the next 10 Elizabeth line trains. So around the site, you can sort of see the preparation for that. So this is a working factory, and we've been able to somehow get this organised, get this event on, celebrate it with everyone. But yeah, we go back to work on Monday.
And it's certainly been very much appreciated from what we've seen today. What are your hopes for the future of rail? We've had so much in the headlines for the past few years. What are you hoping will happen?
So I'm hoping that people remember again that it is the most efficient way of moving people around the country. So particularly when we're going from heavy density populations, we're moving around. If you look at the width of a track, that's how we get 1,500 people on an Elizabeth line through that little tiny gap. So I'm hoping people remember that. I'm hoping people also remember that actually we design, build and test those trains here so that it's not an anonymous company somewhere else. They're designed, built, tested in Derby. And what we really want as a company is we want a clear plan of what is that future looking like. We need to see an industrial plan for the railways.
Yeah, and I guess you're looking to government for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That indication.
We see there's really positive steps. GBR is forming. We know there's a plan coming. We just want to make sure it includes the supply chain in it.
Okay, well, with that in mind, we'll leave it there. Rob, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And all the best for the next couple of days.
Thank you very much.
Now, in a moment, we will be looking back at the history of the railway in the Midlands. But before that, we're going to bring you some more of the day's news. And police are continuing to question a man on suspicion of intentionally poisoning a group of children at a summer camp in Leicestershire. Police declared a major incident after 8 children and 1 adult were taken to hospital following a suspected poisoning at the summer camp in Stathen. They've all since been discharged, and a 76-year-old man was arrested on suspicion of administering poison with intent. He remains in police custody. More than £35,000 has been raised for the family of 2 children from Erdington in Birmingham who drowned in the sea while on holiday in Spain. 13-year-old Amaya and her 11-year-old brother Ricardo Jr. died on Tuesday off the coast of Salou. They've been described by loved ones as beautiful and bright. And Staffordshire's Chief Constable has been suspended following allegations of misconduct. Chris Noble was referred to the police watchdog last year. That investigation is ongoing, but additional allegations have led to today's decision to suspend him. Staffordshire Police and Crime Commissioner says the reports of misconduct are not work-related and happened before he joined the force. Well, back now to our coverage here at Alstom in Derby, and George Stephenson's first locomotive may have started life in the northeast, but it is the Midlands where the rail industry really took off 200 years ago. The region became a crucial part in linking the north and south of the country. We've had a look back at the history of the railway in the Midlands and how it came to be such a key part of the network.
The invention of the steam train was life-changing, and the Midland Railway became one of the largest operators in the country. This is one of the early steam locomotives, getting ready to carry passengers and freight from north to south. It went through Derby, which became the centre for train making for decades.
3 different railway companies came to Derby in the late 1830s and changed the world effectively. Here we are in the 21st century. It's impossible for us to imagine what it would have been like to somebody in the 1830s, a time when the fastest that anybody could have possibly travelled would have been a professional jockey on a thoroughbred horse, and then all of a sudden steam engines come along and manage a giddying speed of 30 miles an hour that they could sustain. It would have been just transformational to the people of the time, and Derby was in the thick of it.
Leicester was also in the thick of it. Thomas Cook was living in Market Harborough when he organised the very first package holiday for rail travellers in 1841. It was a one-day trip from Leicester to Loughborough to attend a temperance meeting. 485 people paid £1 for the return trip.
It was his idea that it was £1 in total, and that included the food when they got there, and he arranged for bands to be playing, and it was all about it being cheap and affordable. You knew what you were paying, and to get as many people as possible to this temperance rally in Loughborough.
This landmark day trip has earned Leicester the accolade of the birthplace of tourism. Rail travel continued to thrive, and in 1899 the Great Central Railway opened. It linked the North, Nottingham and Leicester with London.
It was a tremendous engineering achievement of the day, and it took all of the learning over the previous many decades of the rapid expansion of railways, and this was, an engineering masterpiece in that regard, because it had gentle gradients and very slight curves, which meant that it could be fast.
It was to be the last of the great Victorian steam lines to be built, and had the most modern locomotives and luxurious carriages. Their express trains always included a restaurant car.
It was a society very much driven by class, and so the rail carriages went from first to third class, and the third class was basically open air, so you were subject to the weather, the steam from the steam train, etc. But it was quite liberating in that people could travel in a way that they couldn't do before, and quicker, obviously, than horse and carriage.
But however fast they went, the train was no match for the freedom of the motor car. And after the Second World War, there was a steady decline in rail travel. In the early 1960s, the chairman of British Railways, Dr. Richard Beeching, made huge cuts to rail transport, known as the Beeching Axe.
Dr. Richard Beeching is a much maligned figure in railway history, but I think from this distance of history we can look back and say that he did what he had to do. And what Beeching's report, the crux of it, was that the railway should concentrate on what they were good at, moving bulk quantities of freights long distance and intercity passenger transport. Pardon me if it sounds a little bit cynical, but you could say it's the epitome of use it or lose it.
The Great Central Railway line was one of the casualties, and no one was happy about it.
Mr. Catton, you're the rector of Eastleigh. What do you think of the railway proposals?
Oh, I think it's rather a poor show.
That could have been it. Locos mothballed, stations dismantled. But in 1969, a group of rail enthusiasts decided they wanted to get the trains back on the tracks. And they succeeded. Despite Dr. Beeching's axe, the Great Central Railway is again a thriving business. Jane Hesketh, ITV News.
Quite the history, and it's clear how vital the East Midlands has been to the rail network since its conception. Well, today it's still one of the most popular ways of getting around, but not all passengers are happy with the service they get. I went to Leicester Station to speak to passengers about their experiences of rail travel.
I actually made sure to give myself about an hour before I need to be in Luton to catch my flight, because there's so regularly there are issues.
I was like, oh yeah, where do I go? Where do I get lost to? Obviously people helped me, staff helped me, so it was very comfortable, even though it was my first time.
We're a bit disappointed that the first class lounges aren't available anymore, so that's and the service is reduced considerably to what it used to be.
They need to buy more cars and make it more accessible for people with
Billeters, yeah. A while ago, my dog fell under the train when someone tried to help him get off, and they picked him up by his harness, and he fell under the train. And the staff were. I had a complete panic attack. The staff were wonderful, really, really helpful.
The railway is actually quite cool because you can use different platforms to discover different parts of the UK. So I think it's actually amazing.
So what's being done to try and sort out some of those issues? Well, Phil Brewster is live in Market Harborough, where electrification is on its way. And Phil, when are we expecting it to be up and running?
Well, good question, Samira. Up until a few weeks ago, electrification of the Midland Main Line was powering ahead. As you can probably see behind me, all the overhead power cables and the gantries are all in place, ready for the new bi-mode trains to zip up and down the Midland Main Line between London, St Pancras and the East Midlands. Now, these trains are meant to be lighter, quicker, quieter, and unlike diesel trains, much better for the environment. They can also accelerate and brake more quickly, which effectively potentially means more railway journeys and in turn better for the passengers. Now, they're all part of some kind of rail revolution that's happening now for the transport for the future. But as you can see from my report, once again, the Midland Main Line project has had to hit the buffers.
When was the last time you made a long business trip and your train had to stop for breakfast?
In the 1980s, passengers in the East Midlands were encouraged to ditch the car and let the train take the strain. Back then, intercity 125s were the latest thing. Fast forward 40 years, and this will soon be the future of high-speed rail travel in the region. Bi-mode trains. Lighter and quicker, they can run on both diesel and electricity.
From an environmental perspective, they're going to be much better. They've also got the next level of technology on them because they're a brand new train. And it's going to be a significant step up from the trains we've got today, which themselves are 20 years old, that run on the Midland Main Line.
But as ever, there are political leaves on the line. The East Coast Main Line, which stops at Peterborough, Grantham and Newark, has been fully electrified for decades. But work to electrify the Midland Main Line has once again been put on hold, much to the annoyance of the region's political leaders, who say it'll affect jobs and growth.
It is incredibly frustrating that they will run under electric wires to Wixton, just south of Leicester, and from there on up all the way through the cities of Derby, Nottingham and all the way up to Sheffield, they'll have to run under diesel, and that's obviously is not good for our economy, but not good for our environment either.
Elsewhere, others are looking to the future by revisiting the past. This is the Ivanhoe Line. For 130 years it ran between Burton-on-Trent and Leicester before being closed in the 1960s. It's now used solely for freight. But campaigners like Douglas Maclay say the explosion in road traffic, train travel, commuting and tourism means the line should be reopened for passengers.
The railway is here, it's built, the track bed, its status is all known. There's no compulsory land purchases required. There's no digging through country land or whatever. All that was done by the Victorians, and all we've got to do is benefit from it.
There we are!
Back in Nottingham, East Midlands Railway unveils one of its newly refurbished regional trains. But the company's managing director thinks going forward, what will fundamentally change is not the look of trains, but what fuels them. In 2018, Alstom became the first rail manufacturer in the world to build a train powered by a hydrogen fuel cell, which emits only water. Battery-powered trains are also being developed.
I think the big question is what we do around traction power. And is that electrification? Is it hydrogen? Is it fuel cells? I think there's a bit of work to do in terms of what that long-term strategy looks like. And I know it's something the industry as a whole is looking at.
But whatever the future of rail travel looks like, supporters are convinced trains are the way forward.
They're going to be much more about giving people the opportunity to travel to work, to live somewhere nice, people to come to visit them, to go to college, to go to university. All these kinds of things will be much more open to, accessible to people who haven't got a car, don't want to use a car.
Phil Brewster, ITV News.
So you've heard there about what's in store for the future of the railway in the Midlands, and it will take the next generation of train workers to make those plans a reality. We're joined now by some of those young engineers who are working here at Alstom, and they are Chloe Turnbull, who is from Derby, and also Yasha Siddiqui, who is from Walsall. Welcome to you both. Now tell me first, Chloe, why rail?
I just thought it would be a great career to be in. I've had family that have worked within rail, and I went onto the apprenticeship scheme and it's been brilliant.
So you're actually following in Dad's footsteps,
yes.
I believe?
Yes, I am.
Great. And Yasha, what about you? Why rail?
I think rail is possibly one of the only modes of transport that can be as green as possible when it comes to, you know, being sustainable for the planet. But it can be one of the best modes of transport going into the future.
So how did you actually get into the industry as such? Because you did aerospace engineering, didn't you, Yasha?
Yeah, I did. I did aerospace systems engineering at Coventry University, and now I'm here at Alstom. But I think a lot of engineering is transferable because it's all about fixing problems, and that's what we do as engineers. So they're in both industries.
Yeah, and you knew it was something natural that you were going to do anyway, Chloe?
Yes, I came as an apprentice and I was on the production line, so I had more of the hands-on start of my career, so different to what you've had.
Yeah, but you're both here. And one thing I have to say, you can't help but notice there are a lot of men who work in rail. It's quite rare to have women. I just wondered how you both feel about that, and what are your experiences as young women in this industry?
Well, I think the first thing is there's a lot more women now than there were in the last decade, I'd say, and it is because of those women that promote more young girls to come into the industry, and that's kind of what we're doing here as well, being role models and inspiring the next generation of young engineers, but especially female engineers, and that's what events like this are all about.
Yeah. And Chloe, just finally, what are your hopes and futures for rail travel?
I just hope we can carry on here, building what we're doing, people enjoy what they're seeing, travelling on, so I just hope we carry on as we are.
Okay, well, we certainly wish you both all the best for your future, and long may you continue being role models for those young women who want to come into this industry.
Thank you.
Thank you both for joining us. Thank you. Now, I began this programme on arguably the most famous steam engine in the world, but there is another famous locomotive that some people might say is perhaps, well, even more well known. Do you recognise this song? It is the introduction to Ivor the Engine, which was first broadcast on our televisions in 1959. And for people who are my age and older, who grew up in the 70s, it was must-watch television children's programme. However, it could also be this one. It is the theme tune to Thomas the Tank Engine, who has been a firm favourite on our screens from the 1980s right up until this decade. And the people we've spoken to today told us that that actually is where their love of trains began. In fact, Thomas is famous worldwide. There's been a special exhibition about him here at the Greatest Gathering today. And our reporter, Ravneet Nandra, is at Thomas Land in Drayton Manor now. Ravneet, was Thomas a staple in your home when you were growing up?
Oh, Samina, that music was just so nostalgic. It took me all the way back to the 90s. And we are at Thomas World. If you have a look just down there, we can see Thomas is waiting for his last ride. It's really just bringing me back to the 90s and Thomas and Friends for that famous TV show. And it's not just me that loved and lived here. Millions of children did around the world, so much so that in 2008 Drayton Manor opened Thomas Land. And it was nostalgic for the parents as well, but don't just take my word for it.
So it was all the way through my childhood, so bringing him, it brought back memories for me too. And obviously it was his birthday and he loves Thomas. So yeah, we just come because of that really.
I really like the rides and they're really fun and
And do you watch
yeah.
Thomas?
Yeah, I used to when I was little.
I was here every summer holidays as a kid, brought all of these back as a kid, and now it's her turn to enjoy it all.
I like Thomas and the history and everything like this.
What's your favourite ride today?
I liked the cranky. Oh, the cranky one, it goes up and then down.
Now, did you know that this year marks 80 years since the very first iteration of Thomas and his friends in the storybooks? And the TV show began in 1984. The actual model where they filmed it is actually sitting pride and place in Drayton Manor today for people to see. You can see all the intricacies of faces and characters and buildings. But do you know what? I want to ride on the real thing. So, peep, peep, Thomas, let's go.
Ravni, thank you. Certainly the place where memories are made. And that is almost it from the greatest gathering at Alstom in Derby. It really has been an enjoyable day, and thank you to the staff here for making it happen. There are 2 more days of the Rail Festival to come, and we are going to leave you now with the sound of the steam engines whistling behind me. Brace yourselves, it might be loud, but do enjoy. It's quite a sound. From the team here and also back at base. Bye-bye.